Are you ready for success? We never know when it will come, but when it does, will you be prepared? John Wooden has a great quote that covers this. When opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. So we have to prepare before it comes. And I found this in the fire department. When I was in the fire department, one of the things that would happen when a lieutenant or a captain, the boss of the unit, when they became injured, we still had to keep the integrity of the unit whole. So the senior man would be appointed acting lieutenant. So that senior man always had to be prepared to step into that role. That senior man always had to be kind of thinking about the role of lieutenant. Because at any point in time, he could end up being the lieutenant. And basically the lieutenant's the safety officer, right? Like, you just have to keep the men safe. So as the senior man, you were always thinking about what are the best practices to use in this scenario. You were always in a heightened sense of being prepared for when that opportunity of me becoming the acting lieutenant would happen. The unknown is what the actual scenario is, though. Is it a car accident and there's cars buzzing by you at 75 miles an hour up on the highway? Which is pretty damn scary, by the way. Is it somebody caught under debris? Is it somebody stuck under a car? Is it a house fire? A warehouse fire? So you never know what the scenario is going to be, so you're always in that constant state of preparedness. When the opportunity arises, it's already too late to become prepared. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. What that opportunity is, what it looks like when that opportunity comes. Opportunity, for the sake of this conversation, I define opportunity this way. I define opportunity not as something I'm going to get. It's kind of what average people think opportunity is. If we went out there and surveyed 100 people, 99 of them would say opportunity. They'd give examples of opportunity of, oh, I got this or I got that. Somebody gave me this, somebody gave me that. What if opportunity wasn't what you got or received? What if opportunity was something you gave? What if opportunity was a way you could serve others, help others, add value to others? I think about opportunities when I hear complaining. That's where I recognize a ton of opportunities. And I want to tell you the story of Gojo. Gojo is a soap company. There was a husband and a wife that owned a factory. And the wife would always, at the end of the day, she'd go in to wash her hands, and it was just bar soap back then. And all the grungy men would wash their hands with this bar of soap, and it was disgusting. The hair was in there, the grease was in there, but they didn't care because they were men. And the wife that owned the factory, she would come in to wash her hands, and this grungy soap would be there. And she thought to herself, what if I could have clean soap all the time? Well, she could carry around the bar of soap in her pocket, but she decided to create a liquid soap. It was soap that it was one-time use. Push a little button, little soap comes out. Turn the bottle over, little soap comes out. I can wash my hands. And that was the true birth of liquid soap, or at least the founding of Gojo. Liquid soap goes all the way back to the 1800s. But this is how Gojo came into existence. And then she took it one step further. She said, what happens if I could wash my hands without soap? Without water. What if I could wash my hands without water? That was the birth of Purell. Amazing the opportunities that come along when we're open to it. Right? How do we become open to the opportunities? How do we see the opportunities? There's a scene from what's the movie? Morgan Freeman. I could see him. He's a waiter. Morgan Freeman in Evan Almighty. There's a scene there, and that scene simply says he's a waiter and he's speaking with a young lady, and they're talking about opportunity. And he says, if you pray to God for money, will God just bestow money upon you, or will he bestow the opportunity to create money? If you pray to God for courage, will he just give you courage, or will he provide the opportunities so that you can display courage? Right? Think about the definition we gave in the beginning. Opportunity is what I can do, not something that's given to me. Lesson I learned from the police department on opportunity. This is a big one for me. I let my ego get in the way. Back then, I didn't understand mindset. And I was looking through the wrong set of glasses. There's one unit in the police department that if I was in that unit, I'd still be a police officer to this day. It's the one unit that would have kept me in the police department and prevented me or held me back. Not really held me back, but I would not have had the drive to go to the fire department. And that's the mounted patrol. Mounted patrol is when you ride on horseback. The coolest thing in the world. I worked with a gentleman that had a direct connection to mounted. He actually went through the process of becoming a mounted officer. He had an intimate knowledge of what it took to become a mounted officer. And I let my ego get in the way, and I never went up to him and said, hey, I have an interest in going to mounted. How'd you do it? What are some of the things I can do right now? What are the behaviors I can adopt right now so that I can move into that new version of me? I never asked that question. That opportunity God gave me, I prayed to God to go to mountain. God gave me the opportunity, yet I let it pass me right back. There's a good joke about that. A joke about how there's a man lives next to a river. The river overfloods the banks. The water comes up. The police and fire department show up in trucks. Everything's flooding. Jump in the truck. We'll take you to safety. No, thank you. I'm praying to God. He will save me. A couple hours later, the water continues to rise. The guy's on the second floor of his house. The police and fire department come by in boats. Jump in the boat. We'll bring you to safety. No, thank you. God's going to save me. A couple hours later, the guy's on his roof. Water at his feet. Helicopter comes, drops a ladder. Climb up the ladder. We'll fly you to safety. No, thank you. God's going to save me. Water continues to rise. The man drowns. Now, the man appears in heaven, and he asks God, why didn't you save me? I sent you a truck, a boat, and a helicopter. What more do you want from me? Are you missing the opportunities because you're looking through the wrong set of glasses? Through the wrong lens? Are you looking through the lens of what can I get as opposed to what can I give? In the fire department, the police department, this is another great story from the police department. It's if then. I'm always looking to be prepared. If this happens, then I will do that. If this happens, I will run behind the tree. If this happens, I will take this action. It's a sense of preparedness. So when the opportunity arises, I will do this. And I got that when I was a police officer. When I was a police officer, my first day in patrol, I hid in a doorway. I didn't want anybody to see me because I didn't have the answers. I was brand spanking new. I felt like an imposter. And one of the things I learned that day is I was running through if-then statements. If someone comes up to me, then this is how I will handle it. And it was a way I used to calm myself down. But in reality, I was preparing for different scenarios. Are you preparing yourself for when success comes knocking on your door? If you have your version of success, let's say you wanted to be a public speaker up on stage giving presentations. Are you actually giving presentations right now? You can't believe that you're going to get to the majors being up on stage, if you're not giving presentations at local events, if you're not getting your reps in. So are you preparing for when that opportunity comes? Because you can't prepare to speak on stage when you're asked to speak on stage. You have to get those reps in now. Are you getting your reps in? Are you preparing? We prepare every day of our lives. We prepare for coffee, right? We set up our coffee pot before we come down to make our coffee. We make sure there's fuel in our car so that we can get back and forth to work. The fire department, I used to lay out my clothes, right? Because in the firehouse, you get to sleep in the midnight. I used to lay out my clothes so that when the bells go off, 30 seconds later, we're racing out of the firehouse. How is that possible if you're not prepared with your gear and everything else? The firehouse, we would back the rigs into the firehouse. Why do you back a fire truck into a firehouse? Why do you park police cars up on the sidewalk on an angle? So that they're nosed out into traffic already. So if they're needed, they can immediately respond. To this day, I still back my car into my driveway specifically for that reason. If I have to go help somebody, I can get out of the driveway a lot quicker than you can if you pull into the driveway. I still lay out clothes. Like I'm a civilian. But a buddy of mine might call me 3 o'clock in the morning, and I may have to go out and help him. And I don't want to have to fumble around looking for a pair of shorts and socks and my shoes. I have everything laid out because I'm preparing. During storms, there are people that have generators, and they have generators because they're prepared in case the power goes out during a storm. So you prepare for all of these little things, but are you prepared to seize the opportunity of success when it comes knocking on your door? Are you prepared for that? I'll leave you with this last quote from Christopher Lockheed. And he says, everything, I have it written right here, everything is the way that it is because someone changed the way that it was. Are you prepared to change the way that it was? Are you prepared to seize that opportunity? Guys, we live up in the numerator, not down in the denominator. We always believe in results over excuses. Go out there today and be unstoppable. I absolutely love spending time with you guys. Have a very blessed day.